What up? This is Dart Adams, and I'm chilling here with the legend himself, Chali 2na.
I trip out when people call me legend, but appreciate it.
Yeah. Man, look, I've been going back with your music like 20 years. So, yeah, to me, definitely legend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. So it's like you have one of the most distinctive voices in hip-hop. You came up with one of the greatest crews of probably the last 15, 20 years. If we're going back to the J5 EP with JU and everything on it. So it's like, I know when J5 started out, it was two separate crews. Could you talk about how they came about?
We were across town from each other, man. Myself, Mark 7, and Cut Chemist were the Unity Committee. We were high school buddies, basically. I mean, Cut went to a different high school, but me and Mark 7 were high school buddies and were introduced to Cut by a mutual friend. We created a crew that, did about 8 years worth of work, in trying to develop a sound. On the other side of town, the South Central, was the Rebels of Rhythm, Dakir, Akil, and a brother who passed away named Sean Africa, who would have been the second deep voice dude in Jurassic 5. But he passed, man. Rest in peace to Sean. But yeah, they were developing their sound on the other side of town, and we met through this cafe called The Good Life. The Good Life was it basically existed because gangster rap took over it had that trend thing going where everybody wanted an NWA sign to their label and this, that, and the third. Nobody in LA especially could get a deal or any record people looking at them in any way because of just the NWA's existing like that and the blow up of it all. So it was like The Good Life was an outlet, and you'd be a bunch of conscious rappers there, man. A bunch of people who were really creative in what they were doing, regardless of whether they wanted to talk about something conscious or not. It was just creativity, and one of the guidelines to getting up there, and so you start to sign the list, and then if your name was called, you get up on the stage, you do your thing. One of the guidelines was like not cursing, you had to try to keep it as conscious as possible. It was dope, man. And it molded us all. It allowed us to meet. It allowed us to collaborate. Once we collaborated, the snowball was created. Here we are.
Okay. Again, if you haven't seen the documentary by Ava DuVernay, This Is the Good Life, go see that film. Another thing I really have to talk about is LA and its hip hop, especially the rap groups, its lyricism, chopping, all those styles, whatever. I just want to say that, did it ever bother you and the other guys from LA that New York never really fully acknowledged you guys' influence on the whole New York scene? Because the way I see it, it's like The Good Life going into like Project Blowed really pushed what happened in New York, especially with the New Yorican cafe scene and going into like the Lyricist Lounge era, the Wetlands, Tramps, what have you. So did that ever bother you, or did you just feel? Nah?
I won't say it bothered me, but I did. I have to acknowledge that it did exist, like our just pushing the envelope due to circumstance, because we couldn't do nothing else, and because they wasn't trying to sign that. All the things that I just described basically had us pushing the envelope. Not just Jurassic, but freestyle fellowships, the licks, the the high roads, everybody who even on the West Coast who was trying to do it and do it different than what was already existing. I think that influence. That created an influence that pushed these dudes on the other side. It's cool, man, and dudes could debate about it, because I've had debates about it, and I'm like,
I've had debates
whatever,
about it.
man. I mean, either way it go, I just feel like them both existing at the same time, if nothing else, was like, you can dig all day and try to find out what existed first or what pushed what, but we pushed each other for sure.
Absolutely. NEHip-Hop was definitely the shot in the arm that not only New York needed, but all of us needed. Because when we heard The Seventh Sign, when we heard all these joints coming out of LA, when we heard all these joints coming out of California, it's like, we were like, what? Like, first time we ever heard Saphir or Casual or Dell or any of them cats. First time we ever heard Nefertiti.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
pick up Neff. I ain't heard her name in a long time.
It's like that really just pushed the envelope.
Yes, sir.
So going all the way from the first EP with J5 up until like the Fish Market series.
Yes, sir.
He's like, what art or what project is it that sticks to your heart that you say is the best work that you've done?
Oh, wow. I mean, well, I would have to say the identification process, which is the Fish Out of Water album, I think is my personal best, work, just because I had the influence on all of it. I was like, okay, I know exactly what I want to do. I know where I want to go. I know that I don't want to take it too far here. I don't want to take it too far there. It was just a lot of different things happened in my life that I was able to express, like my cousin passing away with the song For BB, or you know what I'm saying, talking about my journey through life through the eyes of my father and my son in righteous way. I mean, it just really was a liberating experience, if nothing else. So I think that, and a lot of the whole body of the Jurassic 5 work, no question, that's the foundation of what I've been doing forever. But a lot of the stuff that I did with Ozone Motley as well was like really liberating for me, because it made me see different avenues and different corners that I could turn. You know what I'm saying? Without that, I wouldn't know that I could do these things. So it's good.
Actually, if you haven't heard any Ozone Motley in your life, or you haven't heard Fish Out of Water or the Fish Market series or any of his, slap yourself.
Oh, wow.
Slap yourself unconscious, and then somebody will come along and just wake you up. This doesn't matter. But like before this, we were talking about something that's very near and dear to my heart. Marvel films.
Yes, sir.
And how,
exactly,
as an old head, somebody who grew up back when comic books cost like a quarter, Marvel films will never, ever, ever capture what us fanboys going way back read and loved on the page.
Let me just randomly go off the topic for a second. Would you agree that I switched it. I'm asking a question, all right? Would you agree that the DC films are more on point?
Absolutely. But here's the difference with the DC films. DC is flawed because they had archetypes and they had their heroes be gods, as opposed to Marvel, who had humans.
True.
And that's why us fanboys get so pissed off when we see Marvel films, because we identified with those characters.
Yeah, in the books.
Yeah, within the books, and we're not seeing them represented properly.
I feel you.
Whereas it's easier to do a Batman movie if you stay dark.
Yeah.
If you stick to source material, you stay dark.
Yeah.
Superman's tough because Superman paints you to a corner.
Yeah, you never know where you want to turn with that one. Yeah.
Exactly.
But I love the way people are showing him for what he is, which is an alien. You know what I'm saying? That's the part I'm like, oh, okay. That's an angle people ain't really ever explored. They always dealing with Superman, not Super Kryptonian or whatever he is. You know what I'm saying? We nerding out right now. I'm loving this.
See, the weirdest thing about Superman is, Superman is a hero who pretends to be normal.
Right.
Whereas all the other heroes are normal, pretending to be heroes.
Right.
But the problem with Superman is that Superman is an alien, but he's accepted in America as a normal white guy.
Right.
And he's from like middle America.
Right.
So he's from the heartland.
Yeah.
So it's like, as me coming up as a kid, and I know you identify with this, we were like, Superman's an all-American dude. So and you can't be beat up. You can't do this. But Batman.
Wait. So let's take it back. You 39, I'm 44.
Yeah.
Check this out. You remember Superman versus Muhammad Ali?
Absolutely, man. Superman versus Muhammad Ali. The wraparound cover with all the people you had to identify who was in the crowd. Absolutely, man.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. Superman got his ass beat.
Yes, he did.
And that felt great.
That felt absolutely great.
Back to the Marvels. Because I ain't for them dude. So yeah, man, I do agree that I'm always disappointed, man. From the start, from when it came to the X-Men, man, I was just like little small idiosyncrasies. Like when it first started with Wolverine and Rogue, they hate each other, man. I'm like, what the fuck is? Ooh, excuse me. Like, what is all that about? Like that killed me out the gate for one. Two, little stuff like Xavier's relationship with you gonna make a little small appearance at the Juggernaut? Like that's you know the scene where they like walk past each other and look at each other like, I'm like, come on, man, this is not happening. Yeah. Somebody's head be trying to get taken off, you know what I'm saying? And they be fighting in the street with that dude. Little stuff like that was just all wrong. And I'm like, I'm trying to explain that to like my son 23. I'm like, yo, he's like, but Pops, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I didn't read those books. And these movies are fantastic. So I'm like, all right, I had to kind of like go, all right, let me watch it from his perspective. And when I did that, I was like, all right, that was a good movie.
Yeah. When you watch it from the younger people's perspective, you can't suspend belief. But it's like, I'm one of those cats that like, I read like God Loves Man Kills back in '82, the first couple of panels where it's the black kids getting chased and then they get killed and you think it's because they're black, and no, you find out it's because they're mutants.
Right.
And that set the aesthetic for me in any X-Men story.
Right.
Because I want that same feeling and that same seriousness brought to any film. Yeah. And they've never done that ever.
And I feel you on that too. And one of my final like biggest gripes is that these stories, like you said, are so rich. Like so full of details, so full of content. it's like, why not, do it verbatim? Why do you have to embellish on it? Like, why you got to put that
like how they screwed up the
sprinkle on it? I'm
Wolverine
like,
movie.
dude, oh man.
Like,
Yeah.
they put the Blob in where they could have just put in like Mammoth. You know what I'm saying? It's like they made Silver Fox a mutant when she didn't need to be.
Exactly.
You know, it was a bunch of. Oh man.
Yeah. We could do this all day.
We could do this all day.
All day right here.
Yeah, man. But it's definitely been a pleasure speaking to you.
Respect, man. For sure.
Man, you're a legend in the
Blessings,
game. I've been listening to you damn near forever.
you, man.
I love your music.
Thank you.
This is Chali 2na. 1.
Yo, this is Chali 2na from Jurassic 5, and you are now tuned in to NEHip-Hop. NEHip-Hop, Massachusetts style. Yes, sir. Yeah, that was dope, man. I'll get the fan out like that. On screen.
2. 2.
And the beat goes on.